So hello students, today we shall be taking the next topic which is called as electric flux density. Okay, so to understand this electric flux density, we go to history a little bit. So Faraday conducted an experiment. Faraday conducted an experiment like this. So what he did, he took a hollow sphere like this, a metallic hollow sphere with radius r equal to a. Okay, so this is a metallic hollow sphere. Next, what he did, he put a charge of plus q on this hollow sphere, right? So q plus q, right? Now, the next thing, he introduced one more sphere, an outer sphere like this, one more outer sphere like this around the sphere with the charge plus q. Okay, he put one more metallic sphere. Right? Now, there is no medium here, so you can say air or vacuum in between this hollow sphere and another hollow sphere. Let us say the radius of the outer sphere is r equal to b. So he made this configuration like this. What happened is, after he introduced this experiment, he removed the outer sphere separately. So he separated the outer sphere like this. Separated the outer sphere. And what he saw was a charge of minus q has come on the inner side of the outer sphere. Strange, right? Okay. So what happened? You have a plus q on the inner sphere. You introduce one more outer sphere, one more metallic sphere which is larger than the inner sphere, and take out the outer sphere separately. So if you take the outer sphere separately, you can, what you saw was there was a charge of minus q which was uniformly distributed across the inner surface of the outer sphere. Okay, so a charge of minus q was developed on inner surface of the outer sphere. Okay, so this is called as the Faraday's experiment. So very short experiment, nothing elaborate about this. Now, he what he did was he did not jump into conclusion. So he put one more dielectric here like this. So he put a dielectric. Okay, so glass or some other dielectric here in between these two, where it was air earlier, air or vacuum earlier. Now then he performed the same experiment, and still he got this result only. Okay, so whatever magnitude of charge you put here on the inner sphere, the same magnitude of the charge appears on the inner surface of the outer sphere, irrespective of the material in between. Okay, so the material charge developed, I'll write it small sentence. The charge developed was independent of the material between the spheres. Okay, so two things. First one, the charge develop a charge of an opposite charge develops on the outer sphere, and the strength of the charge is irrespective of the material which is between the two spheres. So these are the two conclusions what is all. Okay, so there is some sort of displacement. So we coined a word as displacement. So there was some sort of displacement from inner sphere to outer sphere. So this was the conclusion of this experiment. So this was irrespective of the material in between the outer sphere and the inner sphere. Okay, so this was the conclusion. There was some sort of displacement, so quotes and quotes, displacement from inner sphere to the outer sphere, right? So this he called as displacement. This displacement he called as the flux. So this displacement from inner sphere to outer sphere was called as flux. Okay, so you can call it either displacement flux or just displacement or electric flux. So this electric flux is more suitable for us in this age, right? So that displacement, so plus q inside, suddenly you get a charge of minus q outside, but with the same strength. So if you have plus 10 coulombs in on the inner sphere, you get a minus 10 coulomb outer sphere. Okay. Now this electric flux was observed as lines of forces. So if we have two charges, let us say q and minus q, what will happen? You get lines of forces like this. So these are nothing but lines of forces. This is nothing but which was nothing but the experimental result of Faraday, this electric flux. So it took some time to exactly know what was electric flux. So electric flux was coined as displacement. So some charge is present and suddenly some negative, an opposite polarity charge comes into picture with the same magnitude. So that was called as displacement or electric flux, and later on we came to know that these are nothing but lines of forces. So electric flux is nothing but lines of forces like this. Okay. Now these lines of forces or flux, which was coined as the symbol xi. Also, we saw that the magnitude remains same between outer and inner sphere. So, change in charge on the inner sphere reflected the same on the outer sphere. So, what do I mean to say? So, change in charge on the inner sphere reflected the same change in charge on the outer sphere. Correct? So, there was a displacement, no doubt. There was a displacement, no doubt, but also it corresponded to the change in amount of charge present on the inner sphere. So, therefore, flux depends on charge. So, therefore, mathematically we write so xi equal to the number of lines of forces is equal to the total charge present. So, this is the conclusion mathematically of the Faraday experiment. Is I equal to Q. So, this was the major conclusion. So, number of lines of forces is nothing but the total charge present. No, this was not enough. So, we went further. So, we wanted the density. So, the, the flux density. The flux density sorry, flux density is equal to flux divided by area. So specifically flux divided by unit area. Correct? So density means something divided by volume or area or length, etc. Right? So in this case, uh, we want flux per unit area. See why flux per unit area? So this was the sphere. So charge Q was distributed, and the radius of this was A. Correct? So this sphere, we wanted to know density of the flux. So if lines of forces are emanating like this perpendicularly, so number of what is the flux per surface area of this sphere, correct? So we want density. So hence we write flux per unit area. So mathematically, flux density equal to xi by area, unit area of course. Yeah, this is extra. We can just remove unit area. So it means the same. So if we divide, so this becomes redundant. But so this is more appropriate. So this is just for information, nothing. So this equals xi by what is area of this sphere? R equal to A. So 4 pi R square. R square. So if this is evaluated at the radius A, what you get? So xi by 4 pi A square. So flux density equals xi by 4 pi A square. Now we know that by equation 1, xi can be replaced by q. So this becomes q by 4 pi a square. So therefore, flux density equals q by 4 pi a square when evaluated at r equal to yeah. Now, what is the direction? What is the direction of the flux? Can anybody tell? So this r equal to a. Direction of the flux. So this is perpendicular actually always. So there are reasons why this is perpendicular. We'll discuss later. So if this is xi, what is the direction of the lines of force here? So this is in AR direction. Why we write AR? This is because we are taking sphere as a reference. So because it is a sphere, it's better to take spherical coordinate system. So the direction of the flux is AR. So therefore, flux density equal to q by 4 pi k square into AR. So therefore, the flux density is coined as D. Okay, so this is nothing but flux density symbol Q by 4 pi K square into AR evaluated at R equal to, remember this equation, second equation. Now, flux density D can be evaluated for any value of R or radius, correct? So here I specifically took R equal to A. This A can be anything, right? No, correct? So R can be here, or R can be taken as an arbitrary variable. Okay, so therefore, flux density D can be written as 2 by 4 pi R square into AR. So that is evaluated at any value of R. So this is the equation for flux density. Now, because we are dealing with electric field, we also call flux density as electric flux density. So they are synonyms. So electric flux density is same as flux density. So just for abbreviation sake, we call it as flux density. But to be more specific, it is appropriate to write as electric flux density. So this equation is an important equation. So this is evaluated at any value of R. Okay. Now, of course, we have to already implicitly understand that the flux starts from wherever the charge is present. So if we evaluate D have somewhere here inside the sphere, there is no lines of forces which is inside the sphere, correct? So here the flux density is zero. There is no meaning of flux density within a sphere. So always flux density exists wherever the charge starts. Okay, wherever the lines of forces are there, then there is a meaning to electric flux density. So charge per unit area. Okay, otherwise within the sphere there is no electric field, so there are no charges present, hence flux density is zero. Yeah. So always this definition applies to the points wherein or the locus from which the charges start or the lines of forces start rather. Okay. So what is the unit for electric flux density? So charge by area. So coulomb per meter square. So flux density D equals Q by 2 pi R square into AR coulomb per meter square. Understood. So next we see that the equivalence of flux density D and electric field intensity E. We know that E equals 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square into AR whole per meter. Flux density D is written as what? Q by 4 pi R square into AR coulomb per meter square. So can you compare these two equations and see how can flux density D be related to E? Hmm. So if I take this equation, so I will take epsilon naught here to the LHS. So what do I get? Epsilon naught into E equals 1 by 4 pi Q by R square. So it's same as writing Q by 4 pi R square. Of course, the AR is always there. Correct. So what do you arrive at? What have we arrived at? So this is nothing but this equation. Alright? So therefore, flux density D equals epsilon naught into E. So this is an important relation. Okay. Hmm? No. One more thing. For any material, if we are talking about any material, not only free space, then so for any dielectric, electric flux density D, nothing but epsilon into E. Okay. So we take up a small problem. Find flux density D around a uniform line charge of 8 nanocoulomb per meter lying along z axis in free space. So simple question. You have x, y, and z coordinates. You have a line charge on this, okay, an infinite line charge, which is uniformly distributed. It's of strength 8 nanocoulomb per meter. You have to find out in the surroundings what is the flux density D equal. Okay, so it's a simple question. So how do we find out? So we know that electric field intensity E is rho L by 2 pi epsilon naught into rho into air. Of course, if you take as a vector, this is the formula. Now I want to find out D. So how do I find out D? So D equals epsilon naught E. Correct. So this equals epsilon naught into rho L by 2 pi epsilon naught rho into air. So epsilon naught gets cancelled. So what remains? Rho L by 2 pi rho into air. So therefore D into air. So start substituting. What we get? Rho L is given as 8 nano. divided by 2 pi into, see, rho is not specified, so it is just said the surrounding. Okay, so surrounding, what is there around the uniform line charge? So nothing is specified, no distance is specified. So in general, we will keep it as rho only. So this becomes 1.273 and just minus 9 by rho into 0. So just for completion, we will see D equal to, sorry, we will find out flux density D at rho equal to 3. So if rho equal to 3, so then D becomes this divided by this equal to 3, and D becomes finally 0.4240 nanocoulomb per meter. Okay. Nanocoulomb per this meter square, sorry. Meter square. So if rho equal to 3, you can take any row and you will get value. So we'll take one more example before we wind up this topic. Find V coordinate system at point P 6, 8 and minus 10 due to point charge of 40 millicoulomb at origin. A uniform line charge rho L equals 40 microcoulomb per meter on Z axis, present on Z axis. C, uniform surface charge density. See, this is also uniform line charge density only, but that is implicitly to be known. Rho S equals 57.2 microcoulomb per meter square. On the plane x equal to meters. Okay, so you have to find out electric flux density T at this point P, this given point P, due to point charge at origin. Second case, it uniform line charge line with 40 microcoulomb per meter density on Z axis, and a sheet of charge with this particular rho s were placed on x equal to 12 plane. So how do we go about this? So solution. So first case we will take. So there is a line charge like this. Sorry, there is a coordinate system. You have a coordinate system like this. X, Y, and Z axis. This is the origin. So at origin, you have 40 millicoulomb. 40 millicoulomb of charge. You need to find out the flux density D at this point 6, 8 and minus 10. So 6, 8 and minus 10. So somewhere here. So you need to find out electric flux density at this point. So how are you going to do this? So flux density D equals epsilon naught E. Correct? So what does D become? Epsilon naught. So this because it's a simple point, this becomes Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R square into AR. So epsilon gets cancelled. So D nothing but Q by 4 pi R square into AR. Correct? So this origin is nothing but 0, 0, 0. So what are the variables we need to find out? We need to find out R and we need to find out AR. So the vector R which connects the origin and this point. So this vector R here from origin to this. So how do we write that? So 6 minus 0 AX plus 8 minus 0 AY minus 10 minus 0 AZ. So R is nothing but 6 minus 0 AX plus 8 minus 0 AY plus minus 10 minus 0 AZ. So this equals 6AX plus 8AY minus 10 AZ. So what is the magnitude of vector R? Square root of 6 square plus 8 square plus minus 10 square. We'll get 14.14. So what is the unit vector AR? R by magnitude R. So this equals 6AX plus 8AY minus 10AZ divided by 14.14. So flux density D is what? Q by 4 pi R square into AR. So this is Q is what? 40 milli divided by 4 pi. So what is R square here? 14.14 square. But into what is AR? 6AX plus 8AY minus 10AZ divided by 14.14. So what is this equal to? 6.75AX plus 9AY minus 11.25 AC. These many microcoulomb per meter square. Okay, so this is the first sub question being solved. What is the second sub question? So there's a uniform line charge rho L equals 40 microcoulomb on the z-axis. So we have a coordinate system like this. X, Y, and Z. You have a uniform line charge on the z-axis like this. With the strength of 40 microcoulomb meter square. Now due to this, I want to find out the flux density D at the point P 6, which is placed on 6, 8, which is nothing but 6, 8 and minus 10. Now due to this, I want to find out the flux density D at this point. So what is the first thing to do? First thing is you have to drop a perpendicular. So we'll drop a perpendicular from this point to this point. So this becomes the perpendicular. Correct? So what is the point of intersection here? 0. So x is 0. y is also 0. What is z equal to? Z equals nothing but this much length. So because this is a perpendicular to the z-axis, z is nothing but the same minus 10, which is reflected here, minus 10. Correct? So this is a perpendicular, remember. Okay, so what is formula for electric field intensity? Due to a line charge, 2 pi epsilon naught into rho into here. So D equals epsilon naught into E. So epsilon naught into rho L by 2 pi epsilon naught into rho to here. So epsilon gets cancelled. What remains? Rho L by 2 pi rho into here. Correct? So if I call this vector R, what is R equal to? R equal to what? So 6 minus 0 AX plus 8 minus 0 AY plus minus 10 minus of minus 10 AZ. So this is nothing but 0. So this equals 6AX plus 8AY. What is magnitude of R? Square root of 8 square into 10. So here it's nothing but R by magnitude. So 6AX plus 8AY divided by 10. Yeah. So we'll substitute. So D equals rho L by 2 pi rho into A rho as per the previous equation. So rho L is what? 40 and it's minus 6, 40 micro. So 2 pi into, so what is rho actually? Rho is nothing but this distance, right? Magnitude of R vector. So what is rho actually in definition? Perpendicular distance from the point to the required axis. Right? So this is nothing but rho itself. So rho is nothing but 10. 10 into what is A rho? 6AX plus 8AY divided by. So if we solve this, what do you get? Write it in one jump. 0.38 AX plus 0.509 AY into this many microcoulomb per meter square. So subdivision C, what does the subdivision C say? You have a coordinate axis. Have a coordinate axis, X, Y, and Z. You have a sheet, you have an infinite sheet at some particular place. Correct? So it's an infinite sheet. So at what point this sheet is in actually? So this is at x equal to 12. So this becomes nothing but x equal to 12 point. This cell here. Correct? Now the given point P is somewhere here. 6, 8 and minus 10. Okay. So we can see that the sheet is ahead of the point P. So how? So we can see x equals to 6 here. The intercept here is x equal to 12. So the point P is behind this sheet. Remember that. So electric field E is nothing but what was the formula for sheet of charge? Rho s by 2 epsilon naught into AN. Correct? So what is D equal to epsilon naught E? So this becomes epsilon naught into rho s by 2 epsilon naught into A. So therefore, what D becomes, rho s gets epsilon gets cancelled, rho s by 2 into A. So D equals rho s by 2 A. Now this is equal to what? So rho s given is 57.2 microcoulomb per meter square divided by 2 into what is AN? Because the sheet is ahead of the point, or rather, in other words, because the point P is behind the sheet. So how does the electric field go? In a negative x-axis direction, right? So the charges are present on this. So rho s is present on this. Because the point P is behind the sheet, the electric field goes in this way. So this is what direction? Minus AX direction. Correct? This is the negative X direction. So the electric field is going like this. So the AN becomes minus AX hence. So this equals minus 28.6 in AX. Okay. Now they might ask one extra question. If all three types of charges are present, then find out electric flux density. Okay, so what you do, you sum up all the electric flux densities and present with an answer. Okay, so the first the field, the flux density due to the first point, first sub question was this. This gets added to this. This again gets added to this. So all three can be added. So the total flux, if all three are present, is nothing but uh, due to the point charge, due to the line charge, surface charge. Okay, this I will keep it as homework and you can do it on your own. So we stop here. In the next class, we'll take up the concept of the Gauss law, an important law called as Gauss law, and its applications. We'll stop here.